Yes, welcome. It's not BackChat Melbourne. It's BackChat from BackChat Studios, and it's a bloody big show. Welcome to the show. Dan, hello, but shush up.
Hello.
Sam Butler.
Hey, I'm back, baby.
House. He is back in the house. Buttman returns again. You've already been back as a guest.
Yep.
Now you're back as a host, baby.
Guest host?
Guest host.
I'm
Bit
just
of
going to
both.
say straight off the bat.
Yeah.
So I just remembered back to the first episode that you were on with us, like when we've relaunched, and you did the exact same dance move during the music, like it was identical. Is that your one move that you have?
What did he do?
It's
Is this
like-
a posture
How do
up
you
by
remember
Dan?
It's
that?
one of these
Identical.
ones.
How do you remember that?
Seriously, someone go back, look at the two. It's ridiculous.
What was it?
It's one of the do the dance.
Happy dance. I can't remember.
Is
Mate.
this
Just
yeah,
go
it's
with
like
it. I
this?
go with it.
It's
When
the
I'm
only
excited, things happen.
It's
Hey,
the
I don't
only
control
one.
them.
So,
Anyways,
so
sorry.
people are like, what is going on here? We don't know either. So we're
Yep.
just going to roll with it. Butsy's here. We might make this regular. We might not. If he's shit, he'll never be back. But it's unlikely.
I'll be back then. People pencil it in.
Hey, Butsy, where can you find us on social media?
At
Yes.
Will underscore.
No. No. Come on.
No.
BackChat, _. That's where you can find us. BackChatPodcast.com.au. You know what you can get there, Butsy? Merchandise.
Oh.
Just tell me what you think about your jumper you're wearing right now.
Can I recommend? It's like I put on a cloud and I'm just engulfed in it now. I know what heaven feels like. Feels nice, fits good. Oh, I highly recommend. Highly, highly, highly. This is the best piece of merch possibly I've ever had in my life.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, you can find that there. You know where to find us. Our patrons, we love you. You sent us to Melbourne. We did some great interviews over there. We're back in Perth, and we're changing things up a little bit for this show, your Tuesday show, your BackChat show. We're going to have some guests rolling through. Butsy this week. He might be back next week. He might not. We don't know. It's going to be like a little mystery box, Butsy. You happy with that?
Not really.
Butsy wants to come back every week. Our sponsors, thank you. Whippersnapper, Shelter, Bluebet, Margaret River Roasting, and Leadville Cameras. Thanks for all of your support. We'd love if you could support them as well while you listen to us going along. You can get your VIP codes for those sponsors.
And merch, I think.
And merch, all at backchatpodcast.com.au and on Patreon. Let's get into it. Sam Butler's in the house. We're going to do a quick Melbourne review, Butsy, so you just sit tight. How did we go, Dan? How was Melbourne?
Flying colours, passed. Great success. Many good things. Not many bad, if I'll be honest.
You sound like Borat speaking about the truth.
Many good.
things. Yeah.
Sort of I'm just channeling Yoda a little bit.
Charlie
it
broke
was
his
really
ankle.
good. Charlie absolutely snapped his ankle in half. You had the frontal view. I had the view from seeing him from running from behind.
How did it look from your point of view? I'll tell you how it looked from mine after that.
So it was like when an animal gives birth, like a four-legged animal gives birth, and the baby's trying to find its feet. It was like that, and you don't want to interrupt the baby trying to walk. You got to let it learn.
Okay.
It was like that for me.
So this was a moment in life for me, Butsy, that there's only so few moments in your life where it can be applicable. I wish I had a GoPro on my head because I won't forget the sound. I'll never forget the sight, but I wish I could have shared it with the world. I was sitting in the Uber. We had to run a little bit because I pinned it a bit too far away.
Right.
And Charlie, who had just been finished at the last pub telling us how good his RM Williams was jogging down the street.
Stable. Great ankle support, those things.
Great ankle support. Well, little did I know what was about to happen. A nice little curve in the undulating surface of a Melbourne street. And tell you what, Charlie went down like a newborn, like Dan said. I would say giraffe that had been tranquilised in the jugular about 4 to 5 times and was not only learning how to walk, but trying to regain its fourth leg. It could have been a
tried to
three-legged.
keep going.
He
Didn't go straight. He tried to wobble through.
The noise, clip, clop, bouncy,
I
bouncy.
What's bouncing here?
Yeah, I don't actually
Every
know.
part
It's
of
the
him.
third leg, basically. So he's done that. It was a good trip, though. We had some great interviews. Jimmy Bartell was outstanding. Jared Ruffhead was very good. Mason Cox, bit of the 2018 back and forth there.
So
with
people
Big
know
Coxie.
who you've interviewed.
Yeah, just little
Who's the
glimpses.
pick of the bunch? Tell me. Put it out there for the listeners.
What's that?
Who's your pick of the bunch?
Sam Mitchell.
Who do people have to listen to?
Unfortunately, and you hate him
That
as
is
much
actually
as I do.
devastating.
Sam Mitchell.
I
was
wish I
very
didn't
good.
ask that question.
He was honest.
Really?
He was insightful. And for a head coach to spend an hour and a half with 3 or 4 idiots in a media room at the Hawthorn Football Club made us come out to him. Does that surprise you?
No,
Every
not
other
one little
guest
bit.
came to our studio,
Yeah.
had to go to Sam Mitchell.
Yeah.
For
Not
me, I
surprising
think
one
it's
bit.
going to be Josh Dunkley because that comes out tomorrow.
That was the best
Must
song, was
listen
it?
to Josh
Must listen
Dunkley.
tomorrow.
Right. Let's get into Sam Butler a little bit. While we've got him here,
Get into
Dan,
it.
you were a bit perturbed, a little bit surprised by Sam's email and sort of contained his
Oh my
employer.
gosh.
Did you want to ask him about that?
So we're going through a bit of the run sheet of what's happening tonight, and Will goes, "Oh, I'll get Sam's email. Can we just send it to him so he knows what's going on?" And I look down, sam.butler@nokia.com,
That's correct.
which is like almost as bad as people having a Hotmail address these days. No
What
one
do you
uses-
mean?
Well, I don't know. I thought
he
it was
works
just
for Nokia.
Yeah, but I
people
didn't-
with
I
Hotmail
didn't know
don't.
at the time that you worked for Nokia. I thought it was like, when you set up an
Like
email.
an old school.
Yeah.
33.
Did they have those back then, Nokia?
I don't know. But I was taken back by it.
So you work for Nokia. Are you
Work for
or are
Nokia,
you
yeah.
not selling 3310s on the side of the street?
They're making a comeback. I've been tasked with bringing Snake back into everyone's lives.
And
You would have been big on Snake as well.
Absolutely.
You're the kind of guy that gets something and goes so hard at it until he just burns his eyelids out.
absolutely.
Is that Snake 1 or Snake 2?
well, Snake 1 was
Snake one.
Yeah, like we're talking. Could
That's
you
where
go, could you
nostalgia
go through
lies.
the walls or not in Snake 1?
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
So,
no,
and
none
Snake
of
2
that.
had the little bugs. Did the Snake 2 have a little bug that you could collect that was more points?
That was the whole idea of Snake, wasn't it?
Are you on a diet?
There's
at the
no
moment?
bugs in the first
Are
one.
you on a diet at the moment?
Yes.
Please tell us about it.
What a pivot! What a pivot!
If this is
Get some structure to this podcast.
this is Sam Butler focus areas right
Love
here.
it.
So we've heard about Cowspiracy a long time on this podcast.
Yes.
We're not still. That's
I
not
still
what-
haven't eaten beef
We're not.
for
you know,
8 years. I'm sticking to that.
What's your diet?
Thanks. Well, I'm on the Nat Medhurst diet.
Okay.
Enjoy.
I don't know if this is worth talking about, but
enjoy
basically, I've gone through a period in my life, newborn kid. Am I taking care of myself? Not really.
No.
You know this very well.
So does Dan.
Yes. First hand.
Yep. So eating poorly, drinking too many beers throughout the week, and Natalie, my beautiful partner,
Yes.
is getting up every morning, working out. She's making a comeback in netball somehow.
Yes.
She's been a mad dog and making me feel so belittled every day.
Yes.
Like I'm an insignificant little blob on the couch that doesn't move.
So she's
Which
got
was
you-
kind of true.
She's
to be
got you
honest.
on the program.
So I said, I'm just going to go 6 weeks, Nat challenge. I'm going to eat whatever you eat.
Wow.
Day 2, I'm like, we need to adapt this.
Too much,
She does
too
not
little.
eat very much. The parameters are now, whatever she eats, I can eat.
Your portion.
Whatever portion size.
Right.
So if I somehow get her to have a taste of KFC, I can then eat a bucket of KFC.
Right.
It's the getting her to eat that thing.
Wow.
For starters. So I'm on the 6 week Nat challenge. I'll tell you how it goes. But I feel like I'm going to lose a lot of weight.
So Nat's making a comeback. So you are copying an elite athlete's diet. I feel like this
I'm
is gonna
basically an
go
elite athlete.
poor well, you're
Without
not.
the work rate.
Yeah, and the athlete.
And the athlete.
and the elite.
Any
And the
athletic
elite.
part of it. Yeah. I basically just don't eat.
How do you think that would go in your household, Dan? I mean, you tried to do a fast a little while ago. It lasted for about 12 hours.
You're faster.
No, sticking with you. At the
Came
moment.
in here with a shake.
The only thing
It's a shake,
that
sorry, yeah.
confused me about that is, like, are you, before you were doing this, were you having separate meals? Like,
So
was she-
dinner always together. So
Yep.
dinners haven't changed. That's great.
Okay.
But, I'm having the toasty cheese sandwiches for breakfast and lunch.
Is she having a shelter at the moment?
That's a good point. Alcohol is not it's not part of the exact diet, but I'm trying to limit myself.
Right.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
Monday night and you're having a beer.
And you're not going to be
Don't
able to
wanna
limit
have
your
to talk to
shelters.
two idiots.
You need to have some good shelters.
Correct.
You can't be taking
You
them
don't
off
say
the
no
way.
to shelter, do you?
Okay, so you want us to have a bit more structure. We are going through, not the week that was, but just some things that caught our attention. We're in the content section at the moment. Nat Medhurst making a comeback, caught our eye, very good. Sounds like she's going to be setting the pace in your household. We're going to keep moving, though. Peter Bowl, Dan, 7th in the world, 800 metre final.
Not bad.
You're not happy with it?
No, I'm saying it's very good effort. 7th in the world.
Well, you said not bad.
No, it was a tongue in cheek, like,
Okay, not bad. I think it was very good. He had the race that he actually needed in the final for those athletics fans out there. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there. Needed a fast lap in the final. Got it. Just kind of wasn't there when the whips got cracking down the back straight.
So 800 is short enough to still have strategy. It's not
Absolutely.
just balls to the wall from the start.
No, absolutely.
Really?
Yes. Well,
You sit in, you just tuck in and wait. It's like a horse race.
pretty much the race can go kind of a couple of ways. The first lap, if it's a slow one, will
Yeah.
favour guys with big kicks late in the race.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a fast race, early, it means you got to have more stamina, you got to grind more. It's not as fast come the back end of the race.
So he wanted a fast first lap,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't just go out and run it no matter what everyone else is doing, or
no, it was
kind
actually
of hope that everyone's going.
It was probably faster than he wanted. It was probably almost too fast, and then he like completely cooked himself. He didn't have the kick at the end.
I was about to say, so it was a perfect race for him, and he came second last. Right, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool,
he almost came sixth. I mean,
so it's only downhill from there.
It's in the world. It's not like down at the local athletics.
Yeah, so he didn't come second last in the world.
There's 6 people in the world that are faster than him.
I see. Yeah.
What about this one, Sam Butler? We talked about this last week. I'd like a little bit more detail. I think I've got it on my computer here right now. I do. Hopefully, potentially. That'd be good. You can pull it up if we're talking about it, Dan. The best, worst mascots in the AFL. That's right. It's another bracket for you, BackChat fans. We first of all ran the best, worst Guernsey in the competition. Well, now we're going to find the best, worst mascot. I tell you what, there, just having a brief look over some of the lists we've brought in, there is some absolutely shocking mascots to get through here. 20 mascots. You're going to vote on socials. Make sure you get onto BackChat _ on Instagram. You're going to be a storied bracket competition where you can enter and you can win. Dan, I've got a prize for people. Do you know what it is?
I do.
Sam, do you know what it is?
Absolutely not.
Would you like to know?
Please.
Put it this way, this is how good the prize is. You were listing the things that were going to be in it, and I said, hey, rein it in a bit. It's a bit too much.
Dan wasn't happy. I was like,
really?
Putting this
Breaking the bank.
It's the
He's spending a lot.
BackChat pack. It's the BackChat pack.
The backpack.
Yeah, it's the BackChat pack.
That comes in the
backpack. I just made up a
backpack.
way better title and you just glazed over it.
I do
the
that.
backpack.
I usually do that. It's the backpack.
Great.
It's just missing the chat. Slab of shelters. Bottle of whippersnapper whiskey.
Woo!
Some sort of betting option from Bluebet.
Yep.
A bag of coffee from Margaret River Roasting Co.
There can't be more than that.
A pair of binoculars from Leadable Cameras.
Binoculars.
Yeah, he was upset with the binoculars too.
Wasn't upset. I mean, it's very generous.
And of course, our merchandise, our merch, BackChat merch. Dan's wearing it. He's got the grey blue. Sam's got the black green. Scully's got the flag mantle. BackChat merch, backchatpodcast.com.au /merch. That's all going into the backpack for the 20 best worst mascots. Can you give me a bit of a flavour of what's going in here, Dan?
So we're going to put up, like we did with the Guernseys, you enter with an email and you win a pack. We'll draw it out of a hat or something. So we have the rankings. We got 20. So there are only 18 teams, but we've booped it up to 20 because there's that many bad mascots in history. For me, I'm going to say one of the worst ones is Hudson Hawker Knights from Hawthorn. It just looks like an eagle a hawk who hasn't had sleep in about 9 years.
He looks a sad-looking hawk.
He looks sad as. Another one is G-Man from GWS. Just a man with a giant head. It's too much for me.
How many of these look like Dean Brogan? We mentioned that he looked like the power guy. He also looked like the GWS mascot.
Yeah, so there's
big jaw.
Tommy Power, or the Thunder mascot, who's great, just a big square-headed man.
Who's that?
Trevor St. Kilda. He's got red goggles. Looks like sort of a superhero, sort of like a Mr. Incredible sort of situation.
Was that Rick the Rock? Did I see Rick the Rock in there? You've put Rick the Rock in,
yeah, Charlie put Rick the Rock.
Absolutely. There's got to be an Eagles contender in there.
I understand, but has there been a worse one, or has it just been Rick the Rock forever?
I think
Rick
it's
is
just been
beloved,
Rick the Rock
mate.
forever.
Rick is beloved.
Remember,
You can't put him in there.
Charlie is a flag mantle supporter.
Oh, classic.
Johnny the Docker looks like... Do you remember that... remember that PlayStation? Yeah, there was one called Grinder as well. Do you remember that
Grinder?
That PlayStation game, early days, and you had to catch monkeys or apes in a net?
Donkey Kong.
No, there's another one.
Diddy Kong.
No, no, it wasn't that. Anyways, it's just an awful... Look up Johnny the Docker, and you'll see it. It looks like he could be selling me drugs on the corner of a street somewhere.
The animal ones are easy, though, aren't they? If you're not an animal like a lion or a tiger, hard to get right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to make it a man, some kind of
power.
weird...
Like
how do you make power?
Yes.
Giants, they've missed the mark there.
Still
Get some
easy.
massive dude walking around outside.
Still easy to get the animals wrong. Have a look at some of those.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right. So if you want to have a look at those, BackChat _ they'll be out across socials in a bracket. Vote for your chance to win the
It's Tommy Power.
They should be on an island in the freaking...
backpack. I was looking for backpack. Thank you very much for not listening to me. Let's keep moving. I'm going to keep rolling. The backpack boys. Understand?
Oh, yeah. That is impressive.
Got it. Love it.
Now, there's been a little bit of movement across the AFL this week, Butsy. Are you still not watching games of football?
No, I watch more than I ever have.
Which is?
I went to the game yesterday.
Did you?
Went
Did you
to
watch
the
the
West Coast
game?
I watched the second half.
Did you?
Mhm.
Who won?
Not West Coast.
Who are they playing?
St Kilda. I'm not that. Hold on. What kind of rep am I getting here?
Well, the rep that you've set for yourself. So, Jack Ginnivan, who's he play for?
Carlton.
Collingwood, very good. Mason Redmond takes him down from Essendon, plays for Collingwood.
Oh, yeah, the blonde
Jack
guy.
Ginnivan,
I know,
the blonde guy.
No. Yep.
So basically, the AFL have come out this week. They've come out with anyone that looks like they're throwing an arm up, ducking their, lowering their centre of gravity, ducking, that gets taken high. It's going to be play on, no free kick called. They've clarified the rule. They've created an area for umpires that requires, quite frankly, more adjudication than they probably need to do. So straight into it, Collingwood Essendon play on Sunday. The first time Ginnivan goes near the footy, basically. He's running in one direction. Mason Redmond comes from the other, takes his head off. And
Absolutely.
He barely throws an arm
He
up.
didn't even need to.
Nah. And then on the ground has him in literally a UFC headlock because it got
He was
called play
tapping
on.
him on the arm.
Well, so what happened was Mason Redmond looks at it, doesn't get called a free kick, and he's like, well, I'm just gonna kill him. I'm gonna take his neck off. So anyway, that happens in the game. There's all this furore over the media. We're not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about Mason Cox. A guest on this podcast will be a bit later on. He's come out swinging. The big American is not happy with it. Do you want to read out his tweet, please, Dan?
It says, wild to think high tackles were put in the game to protect players' health and now are being blatantly ignored for a 19-year-old. How can we think the AFL cares about concussions and head-high contact after this?
So he's come out with that, having a shot at the AFL.
Fair.
Jack Ginnivan trumped him a little bit, changed his profile picture to Mason Redmond
On
with him
Instagram.
on the ground, got him in a headlock. So his Instagram profile picture
Great.
is now in a headlock.
Lean into it.
Have you seen any of this, either of you? What do you think about this, Dan?
Yeah, I hate it. No, I hate it. It's they always say umpires, they don't pay a free kick depending on the player, but it's very obvious in this instance. And the AFL did come out today and said they admitted that the on-field umpire had made a mistake and Ginnivan should have been rewarded the free, of course.
Okay, so that's a giant piece of shit.
It won't last long, will it? That'll be reversed.
Apparently, Dean Margetts contacted a few outlets and has said that this has been the rule all along. The only difference is the AFL have communicated it to the rest of us, and now we're sort of seeing what the umpires are putting in place. This sort of stuff that's the rule all the time, apparently. If the player,
If you lead with your head and force it into him, it shouldn't be a free kick. But some of those, if you drop your knees, as some players are very good at, you can't tackle them properly, then suck it. It's a free kick.
Luke Shuey said on this podcast, there's a few options. There's one, be a better tackler.
Yeah.
Two, what was the other ones? Oh, you're gonna let go, and they're gonna not get it. They're not gonna get tackled.
He said that, if you got the footy, you're not just gonna stand still and get tackled. You're gonna try and evade the tackle.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I agree. It sets a dangerous precedent if you're allowing people to hit people in the head willy-nilly just because they lent into it a little bit.
That's correct. I want to finish on this one. Backs getting coaches' vouchers. So, coaches' vouchers. Coaches' votes. Tom Barrass in a losing game last week against Hawthorn. 10 coaches' votes. 30 touches, 18 marks. 11 intercept marks. Like, just incredible stuff. He backs it up again this week. He gets 7 votes again. Absolutely dominating. In the Fremantle game, Fremantle draw to Richmond. Hayden Young gets the 10 votes.
Cox.
Yes, Brennan Cox gets 4 votes, I think. Dylan Grimes gets votes. 6 of the 10 players that got votes in that game were backmen. Is it about time that we see a backman's award in the AFL? Because,
obviously.
Yes.
Obviously.
The coaches are giving them out, but it's been a bit willy-nilly.
So coaches are finally opening their eyes. That's what you're telling me.
Yes.
And watching the game.
Who
has the biggest influence
Just
on
so you know, our friend Sam Mitchell is the man that gave Tom Barrass the 5 votes in the game against West Coast.
Did he?
Sam Mitchell
makes sense.
v.
Though,
Adam
it?
Simpson.
Have you ever got 10 votes in a game?
For doing what? Absolutely not.
Really?
Here's the list.
Have you?
No.
Actually,
I have a couple of times.
Doing what?
Now, unfortunately, I got one. When you play... So, I used to be a midfielder back in the day, remember? By the way.
Oh, you did too.
Yep.
I actually
Back in the day.
did forget about that.
And then the worst thing I ever did, if you want to be a superstar in the AFL, you want to be in the midfield, which back in the day I rated myself quite highly. Worst thing I ever did was play all right when I went down back the first 2 or 3 weeks. And then basically never got a chance again. And then,
Where's
wait.
Where's your 10 votes, mate?
No, I'm leading to that. Mate, let the story unfold.
Okay. Please go.
And then, obviously, after a certain amount of time, love backline, never want to go in the midfield again.
Yes.
One day, I got 10 votes because Scott Pendlebury got off the chain, had 15 touches in the first quarter. Hey, go tag Scott Pendlebury. Never tagged in my life. Went on the ball and obviously did pretty well. And then got 10 votes for it. And then Simo's going, hey, this could be a bit of a role that we could go to. I'm like, how about no? If I had my time again, I would have let him have 15 again and gone back to my little spot in half back.
So you, later in your career, as a backman, went into the midfield and tagged Scott Pendlebury, who may play 400 games. He's going that well.
Yeah, he's my bitch.
And you got...
Can you say that?
Oh, yeah, you can say it, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Ben Brown's mine.
Yeah.
Give me again, Charlie. Come on.
It was really good, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Now, you didn't hear that, but you got 10 votes.
Correct.
I don't believe you.
We'll look it up.
What round?
Oh, I don't remember
So
rounds, man.
against
You
Collingwood?
just asked me
Yeah.
3 players' names.
Yeah.
I didn't know where they played.
Yeah.
One of the years Simo was there.
So 20... Was it grand final year, 2015?
Nah, maybe the year before.
Charlie, please check every Collingwood game, 16, 17, 14, 15.
And I reckon I got it again in Brisbane once.
Under Simo again.
Yeah.
10 votes from who? In the coaches'
I was elite
votes.
that day.
By the coaches' votes.
Yeah.
Not BNF.
Yeah.
Talking opposition coach gives you
votes.
5.
I was amazing.
Best on ground.
I was amazing.
I don't believe you.
The real crazy thing is I didn't get more, actually, looking back. Now I'm thinking about my career. Jeez, I had some ribbons.
I don't believe that this happened.
Mate,
Charlie
this
will
was,
confirm
This was
and
one of
deny
those games. You know when they say you're in the zone? This was some kind of God-given zone. People were just kicking it. People were stubbing their toes and kicking it to me 10 metres away. Like the ball could not stop coming to me. And then end up going on the wing for like the last 10 minutes of the game and somehow kicked 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. So I was like,
2 goals?
This is outrageous.
2 goals?
Yeah.
Charlie, I want this cross-check.
Do coaches' votes often equate to Brownlow votes? Like, is that
Not
a good
always.
indicator?
So I definitely didn't get votes when I tagged Pendlebury.
Have you ever had
No
three,
chance.
3 votes in a game?
Yeah, that game.
The Brizzy game?
3 Brownlow votes.
Yeah.
My God.
That's good.
There you go, Charlie. Find that, please. Okay, here we go. You send it. We read it by Leaderville Cameras.
You said it, we read it.
You said it. There you go. Now, Leaderville Cameras, Oxford Street, Leaderville. They support us. Everything that we do in this podcast is brought to you by Leaderville Cameras. Our microphones, our stands, our cameras, our lighting. Not the people, unfortunately. The people are very good, though. Printing. They do binoculars. They do anything you need. So they will just look after you down there. You go see Lydia and the crew down there and they'll look
They got
after
a
you.
Nokia kit there?
I don't know. Do you want to see if you
Might
can
have
get a
to talk to
display
them.
camera in a Nokia 3310?
1.3 megapixel camera from
Oh,
a
yeah.
Nokia. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Troy, Fremantle guitarist, he looked after us on that sting, by the way. Oh, we've actually swapped. Yeah, he's looking after us, isn't he, the big fella? We have the guy who does our stings is the lad on top of the stand at Fremantle games playing the guitar. You're looking at me like you've never seen
Sting
that.
Man.
Shut up. There's a man that stands on top of Optus Stadium shredding a guitar.
Really?
Yeah,
What a man.
and makes our stings. Jacob Wilmering.
G'day, boys. We're reading our emails, by the way.
Okay, cool.
G'day, boys. Love your podcast. Was wondering for Scoey, what season was the most dejecting to be involved in for the football club? And what does match review, training, team meetings, etc. look like after those losses? Like 135 points, 100 points, 99 points, such as were suffered in the 2008 season. Do teams train with those losses in mind or just focus on the week ahead? Let's read the side note first. We'll go back to questions. Just a side note. Happy to say when I met Scoey in person about 5 years ago, he was such a great bloke. I was happy to take upwards of 20 minutes talking to my son about the football, which is very special for him. I met Dan a few weeks back and he tried stealing avocados from my fruit market and was telling his kids to yell slurs at other patrons. Bad parenting. Cheers. That didn't happen.
So it's become a
people
trend
need to
on
stop-
BackChat that people may or may not see Dan doing things around town, just like that. And it's becoming a bit of a trend, and it's a bit worrying, to be honest, Dan.
Really? You're a serial pest.
Yes.
He likes breaking
that
the
makes
rules.
sense,
He likes breaking the rules, especially.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, let's go back to the questions. Dejecting to be involved in for the football club for you season. You can both answer this.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, 2010 we won the wooden spoon. That's
How many wins did we have that year?
6.
Are we going to be better win-loss ratio than this year?
Oh, absolutely we are. They're not winning 6
Because that's
games.
important to me,
Yeah.
not to be in the worst team of all time.
Yeah, well, this team currently is.
Well, there's
well
only
and truly
5
like that.
games left, right?
Yeah, they're not winning the 5. If they win 5,
They've only won one game. No, they've won
2. But I mean,
they've
they got
won
two
2.
games. So they have to win 5 out of 5. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You guys suck.
2010 was terrible. Does it? I mean, I'm sort of thinking of successful years that you come away thinking, gee, that
Should've done
wasn't
more.
that good. Like 2016.
100%.
Yeah. Was it you
Great
gonna
call.
answer that? Yeah. So
I was going to do those 2 years.
2015, make the grand final. 2016, have the year, do whatever. But then coming into finals, we're in red hot form. Like I would say close to one of the most informed teams in the competition. We missed top 4. Something happens late in the season and we miss out on top 4. So we finished 5th. Play the Western Bulldogs at home after them flying to Fremantle, losing to them the week before. They fly back to Perth, pants us, and go on to win the flag.
Well,
That
they
was
had
a
the
tough
week
one.
off.
That's
They had the
right.
week
They
off
got
in
5
between.
back, 5,
got about
6 back.
5 players back, which at the time I was nonplussed about because we were red hot. And I just had grand final in my mind.
Yep.
I'm like, when we get there, we have to win this time. And obviously, as they say, take it 1 week at a time. I did not, and we lost.
It was a bit of a one for the actual just game though. I think the season we were pretty good, and then we just didn't rock up in the game. We actually speak to Josh Dunkley about it on Wednesday about this exact game and
really?
how they ambushed us. Wasn't ideal. Pat Smith, beer with BackChat.
G'day, Will, Dan, and Charlie.
And
we
Sam.
write it. Yep, and Sam and Kat. You read it, so here it goes. Here at the Southern River Band, we are massive fans of the show. Got a couple of absolute nuffies in our rhythm section, me being the biggest, and BackChat has been a staple on the tour van of late.
Ooh.
So Southern River Band play the intro song for the Shelter Footy Cast.
You got any like stings over there? You can play us over there, Charlie?
Okay, it's on the second page. There we go.
Southern
There you
River
go.
Band right there.
Yeah. We've obviously noticed the Shelter Footy Cast uses a pretty rad song in the opening. What's the name of that song?
Oh, come on now. Don't throw that at me. Don't do that
Chimneys.
to me.
Isn't Chimneys?
I hope so.
I hope so too. No, it might be. I may have absolutely botched that, so I
Thank you
apologise.
for topping us into that.
We've absolutely
Quagmire.
that's fucking sick. I've had a few randoms recently yelling at us from across the bar. Or you? I'm not going to say that because my mum. Or you? The guys on the CUNT on that footy podcast. And the top 7 or 8 things ever yelled across a bar at us. Very good.
I'll put it in a bar voice because you're just sort of reading it as you're saying it. Oi, you! Are you on that footy podcast? Eh? That's what it is. That's what it says. But
Yeah,
Dan's
that-
like reading
How you
it.
speak when you're in a bar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wondering if you had time on the show to have the Southern River Boys on for a quick chat.
I'll tell you here right now, we bloody do. Sam, you may or may not be getting replaced by the Southern River Band boys.
Live in studio.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna get
Great.
them to
Playing
come
the score
guest.
to the chat.
Yeah, Shelter Footy Cast.
Woo!
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and then having a chat afterwards. We want to see what it's like on the road. Did you find the name of that song?
Yeah, it is Chimney. You know that thing that happens when you pronounce someone's name and the commentator looks at you like you've got it wrong?
Yeah.
That's what you did to me. And it made
Because
me
I
worried.
don't know. I don't know names of songs. I just like the sound of them.
Yeah.
Have you got a few names wrong on television?
Absolutely.
Who?
Called Sean Darcy, Luke Darcy.
Oh, yes.
So
Oh.
I was just looking
Is
down.
that because you were called Jared Schofield so many times in your life that you feel like you have to belittle other people
I
now?
mean, I feel like it's a pretty bad stuff up because I was looking down, hear in my ear, Sco, we're coming to you, and I didn't know what had happened. I looked
Right.
up, and Sean Darcy was injured in the middle of the ground, but I hadn't seen it happen.
Right.
Sco, what's happened with Darcy? And I look up, and he's like hobbling off, and it's either a knee or an ankle. You can see by the way he's moving, but I hadn't
Yeah.
seen what had happened.
All right.
Boys, Luke Darcy is coming off, as you can see on the vision here. And then I go, Luke. I said Luke again, and in my mind, I'm like, his name's
Oh,
not
no.
fucking Luke. And then I instantly corrected myself and said, something like, I've been watching too much footy in the 90s. Big best Western Bulldogs fan, Luke Darcy. Obviously,
good.
Obviously, Sean Darcy.
Good. So you addressed the situation straight away.
Yeah, by self-deprecating how dumb I was.
Great. Well done.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I mean, I would hate to see you with a microphone on the boundary.
I've got
line.
a thought about commentators at the moment.
Please share.
Can we just, I feel like we just need to close this email off and then we can go into that.
Never stop my flow ever again.
No,
man.
we'll pause it. You'll get it back. That's basically it. I just wanted to
Thank you so much. It's
Just
almost
to stop my flow.
Just wait.
It's almost
Just
as
wait.
if
Just
I
wanted to
summarised
sign-
that and you've just
I just
got
wanted
it
to sign off.
yourself.
It's from Pat. Southern
you.
event, and we will have them on. Okay, what do you think about commentators?
Thank
Go.
you so much.
How's
Dan.
this for our idea with commentators?
Yes.
So you're an NFL fan.
Yes. He's
Tony
an
Romo
NBA fan. Yes.
comes into the game and he's reading defenses. He's picking out what's going to happen.
As a commentator, yes.
As a commentator. Because he's just been in the war room, right? He played those guys last year. He's in the thick of it.
Yes.
Now, he probably sucks. I don't really know. But he's going to get slowly, progressively worse. 100%. They should have a rotating spot in commentary on Channel 7 just for players that come out the game. Do they already have this? Why are you looking at me like a weirdo? Do they really?
For like the last 40 years, I reckon.
For what? And then
No.
they kick him out.
Well, they don't kick him out, but currently they've got current players on, like even better. So Jack Rewalt, Phil Davis. There's a couple more in that
Yeah, but
rotation.
they're current players.
Oh,
No.
sorry.
I want
Right.
Will Schofield comes out the game. Will, you got 1 year.
Right.
Talk about this is what we came against these guys last year. This is how they set up. Blah 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 blah. Then you're out. You don't know them anymore. They've
Right.
changed over the last 12 months.
Right.
Go.
Right.
New guy comes in. This is you.
Right.
Just talk about this is what they did last year. This is how they set up. This is out. Like Leighton Hewitt when he does the tennis. When he first started doing the commentary, elite. He is like a savant.
Yes.
Now it's just like it's just another
So
commentator.
you're telling
It's just
me
talking
that
about
I should be out of a job because I'm 2 years out. I should not be
well,
working.
if you're good at commentary, you should do it.
Right.
But get someone like, Sam Mitchell's obviously a great thing. When I think of myself, when I finish footy, the next year if I went to a game, I was thinking about, this is how they set up. Oh, they're
Yes.
doing that differently now. Oh, that's where they're putting their ruckman. Like, I'm thinking through that stuff.
Now.
I go to a game now and go, why don't they run harder?
Oh,
Why do they handball so much?
where's the bar?
Kick it forward, guys. Like, I'm literally thinking
Kick
it in the
it forward.
simplest ways. I'm looking at it like just a general fan. I don't think about it in those terms. You move past it so quick, and the game moves fast as well. So get that guy in and rotate him through. And if they're awesome, maybe keep them.
You just create another role. I mean, it doesn't mean that people that are just out of the game can't do special comments. You just have a special role that's the 1 year out guy.
1 year guy.
Yeah.
But be honest with him, you're not going to stay.
Yes, great.
But all those other guys you sort of talked about, if they're really good at their job, keep them around.
Like it. Amy Hunt, you send it, we read it. The Lookout.
Hi, Dan, Scoey, and Sam. Your typical long time... sorry, I just added that. Your typical long-time listener, first-time emailer. I actually went back and listened to every episode from the beginning. I'm probably Perth's biggest cat supporter.
Oh.
I even have a drunk cat's tattoo the girls did for me on a footy trip. So love the episode with the big hawk. Keep it up, guys. Scoey, wondering if you remember the time we met at the Lookout in Scarborough.
Don't like the sound of this.
I
yes.
play Waffle W, and we had a bye over the Easter weekend. And being the ultimate Resi's footballer, I was planned a pub crawl for the Sunday. It was only about 2 p.m. and I was already blind, trying to show anyone who would look at my cat's tattoo. When I realized a friend of mine had the most ridiculous heels on for this pub crawl. Of course, me, a typical dyke presenting lesbian, thought it was a great opportunity to strut my stuff in these heels. After about 30 beers, I began to put on a catwalk up the outside area of the Lookout near the cabanas. When I realised you and the other West Coast boys were enjoying a few quiet beers in one of the cabanas as well. Good. I then tried to play it off when I just about snapped my ankle in these heels and totally made a dick of myself right in front of you guys.
That's that how you did yours?
Can relate to that. It was
This story is very familiar from earlier on.
Good times. It still gets spoken about at footy about how I almost broke my ankle in front of West Coast boys and ruined my mate's best heels. Keep up with the potties. Looking forward to attending the next Beers with BackChat.
Amy, I'm sorry to let you down. I don't remember it. I really wish I did. Was you sure I was there? I'm sure I was. I probably had 30 beers myself and just thought it was some girl going down shot.
Someone's thought you were Mitch Brown again. Someone did it earlier on when they said you were a good bloke. They obviously, it wasn't Scully. It was someone
Mitch
else.
Brown. That's what you've come up with.
I
Mitch
don't know.
Brown.
Who else looks like you?
I don't know. Probably Mitch
Aggro?
Brown. Yeah. Okay, dickhead. Tronny boy, I sent it. That's a very good email, by the way, Amy. I butchered a little bit by Dan in the middle. Tronny, what? Right or wrong? Did you butcher it or not?
You got to take the feedback on,
let's
man.
keep
We're all
moving.
trying to get better here.
Tronny boy, I send it through. You read it.
Do you know if there's anything in the works for an official fantasy game for the AFLW in the near future? I feel like it would make so many more AFL fans tune in. Maybe big. Do you want to answer that first?
Yeah, I mean, our good friend Selby the Steer had the Moira's Magic AFLW fantasy competition this year. It wasn't official. That's the AFL's problem. Get on board with Moira's Magic. He looks after you. Selby the Steer. Don't know their website, but he does things. He's already doing that. Don't worry about the AFL. Stuff them.
Also, would love an interview with Cuz. It's actually about footy. Feel like you guys could pull it off. Love your work, Tronny boy.
Yes, that is in the works. Been in Melbourne a little bit too long. Come back. Got a few big names to tick off the list. Sam Butler was first, of course.
Obviously.
Ben Cousins, second just to Butsy.
What about T. Godra?
I had a dream that I met Tony Modra. Literally just came to me just then. He was working for
Was it a wet
Fremantle.
Maybe.
Ah,
It sounds like one.
Someone we spoke
comment.
to recently said that they were in cahoots with Tony Modra, and we said,
Coots!
yeah,
That's your in.
and we said, who was that recently? Someone was
Sam
like,
Butler?
no. It was someone who's like, oh yeah, Tony. He was chatting to Tony the other day.
Yeah,
Oh,
Tony.
first name
that's right.
bassist.
Yeah,
It was
was.
older player. Was it Dustin Fletcher?
It may have been. It was someone like that. So
We need to reach out. Yeah, so Cuzzy, stay tuned. Big Dale. Dale sends one in.
WTF has happened to AFL players smashing through the banner? I've noticed modern day teams carefully lift the banner up and try not to damage it. Why? Any thoughts, gents? I'm going to kick us off because I've got a thought on this.
Please.
When I was about 9, I ran out with the Freo Dockers alongside Peter Bell.
Did you? I have not heard this. I love stories I haven't heard.
Ran out.
Were you taller than him?
I was just about the same height. Ran
Cool.
out onto the field, and I'm like, here we go. I'm going to run through a footy banner. I was that excited. And as I'm about 10 metres away from the banner, I get this tap on the shoulder from Belly, and he looks at me and he waves me over, and he runs around the banner. And he never ran through it because it would cut his skin up.
Cut his skin up.
And he didn't let you run through it.
Yeah, he didn't. No, because I was
Oh, tissue
I was
paper
like
Bell.
the
What
docker
kind of
for a
skin has
day.
he got?
I was like the Peter Bell docker for a day or whatever. So I had to run with him around the banner because.
Have you held that? Have you held on to that you didn't get to run through the banner? As the banner boy, you didn't get to run through the banner?
Yes.
And
And
so
look,
he thought it was more important to you to stay by his side than to run
to
through the
get the
banner.
full
The
Peter
arrogance
Bell
of Peter Bell. He said,
full
I
Peter
know
Bell.
what this kid wants, to come with me
Yeah.
around
What
the
do you think
outside.
about this? You didn't used to run through the banner.
I ran through under the banner.
You didn't used to touch the banner.
If I could
Old
avoid
soft
it.
skin, old soft skin Butler.
Well, it's not because I thought it would cut me up. They putting razor blades in the freaking Fremantle banner.
Why did you not touch it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I liked running out at the back.
Yes.
And I don't know why either, but it just always felt good to be at the back, watching everyone run out. You don't want to be at the front, like with all the flogs with their chest out, running out the front.
But you can remember, like,
Sorry,
the
Woosher and Darren Glass.
the captains used to like
tear
break through and rip through it. Now there's like slits cut already. It's like a curtain instead of a banner.
Well, that's what we had at West Coast home games. They had a standard template banner that which had Velcro on the bottom, which you kind of would flap around so you ran through the flaps. But the away games, they still have the crate paper, and all the other teams still have the crate paper.
Would you be willing to go on record to say that you had something to do with the big inflatable eagle that now sits?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So you did have something. So you've got rid of the banner, Sam Butler.
Did I get rid of the banner?
Yes.
If I had to say yes or no, I'd say yes.
Wow. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about it, actually.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, we're not beholden to the banner.
That's all. I mean, it's not a
Tradition.
tradition. Yeah,
That's coming from someone that didn't even like to run through it.
Hey, you're all piecing it together now, my friend.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
look at you go.
So a
So
man who
selfish.
never used to run through it has got rid of it for the rest of the team that used to run through it because there wasn't
Yeah.
many guys that didn't touch it.
Correct.
So you're the bloke.
We had a chance to start something new, new stadium, start some new traditions.
Would you be willing to
The
go on
banner.
record to say that you invented Join the Huddle?
No, I'm not willing to go on record for that.
Okay.
Was I a supporter? Yes.
Okay.
There was lots of really bad ideas going around back then, by the way.
Can you give us some?
Can I give you a banner story?
Can you give us?
Of
can you
course.
also give us
Funniest banner
that?
story ever.
Yes.
Tommy Carroll, Trent Carroll, used to play for West Coast.
Yes.
So him and Michael Braun are the two most superstitious guys you ever met in your life. So Brawny famously would only wake up if the minute finished in 11, 18, and 42. Like his favourite players' numbers when he was growing up. So it had to be 7-11 or 8-11 or whatever. Like he always wore the same shorts for training, those old training shorts. He always had the same bag, like very superstitious guy. Tommy Carroll was the same. Anyway, one day we're playing at home against Essendon, and I'm running out the back, and he never touched the banner, but because of like pure fear that it was going to mean he was going to play a bad game. Anyway, we get through. He's unscathed. Someone's got a piece on their chest because they ran through it, and there's a piece. So they've thrown it behind them straight into his face. And I was next to him, and the dread that came over him, sheer dread, just went white in the face. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. Anyway, he proceeds to get 8 kicked on him by Matthew Lloyd. The poor guy, after in the locker, like downtrodden, looking at the ground, I come in and go, hey, fuck, he was on today. Don't worry about it. He's like, the fucking banner got me, man. Anyway, funny banner story.
Yeah, that's great. Very good. So why don't they burst through? 1, they don't want to cut their skin up. 2, they don't want to touch.
They don't want
the
Matthew
banner.
Lloyd to kick 8 goals on him.
And 3, Butsy got rid of the banner with an inflatable eagle that my children wouldn't even play with. Jack Walters, Benny Cousins. Yes, they would. Yeah.
Hey, BackChat. I'm a new listener and have binged about 60 episodes in 3 weeks trying to catch up. I do see all the new episode posts, and I've been wondering, where is Benny Cousins? Surely an absolute no-brainer. Would absolutely love to hear from the big man. Could potentially run it as a Patreon special, entice a few people over there. Cheers, legends. Keep it up, Jack.
I don't mind that, Jack.
Good idea. I do want to just say, Ben Cousins isn't just calling us like, hey, can I come on the podcast tomorrow? Like, it's hard to get these people.
Who is? Is there people sitting around?
No,
that
but
aren't
that's,
calling us?
because we've had a few people go like, hey, why don't you have Ben Cousins on yet? It's like, yeah, of course. Like, we'd love to have Ben Cousins on.
Oh, right.
It's not easy.
Have you reached out to Ben?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
So we just got on a massive rant, and the end of
I'm
it
just
is
saying,
you haven't even tried.
I'm not just saying, like, we can't just pick a name
we can't just get these guys.
they appear,
Well, you have to
they
ask
appear in
them
the
for-
studio. Like, it's, there's a process.
Thank you for that great clarification, Dan. Hayden Dwyer. This segment goes, by the way, if you send it, we read it. Just in case you didn't get that.
Great title.
Love the podcast and love the vasectomy stories. How much money can I put up to sponsor a vasectomy segment? You splice it, we dice it.
So we've gone through a fair patch here at BackChat of about one story a week about being a vasectomy. So we haven't actually got it this week, but
No, thank you.
they've gone from mildly funny to outrageously hilarious very quickly.
Right.
Very detailed.
Dan doesn't like reading them, so it's even better because he gets very
A bit squeamish.
Yes.
Well, it's just like hard to talk about people like jerking off into a tube and then like
Oh
having
wow!
to give it to.
You sound like you rolled off your tongue very easily.
No,
there.
I've had that many. I've had that many to read through.
So are you picking and choosing the best here, or
No.
anything that
You
gets
send
sent in?
it, we read it. You send it, we read
So
it.
if 200 emails come in, you're reading them.
Let me be clear. You send it, we read it. It doesn't matter the topic. It doesn't matter what it is. You send it.
We read it.
So if you get 50 next time I'm meant to come on,
Yes.
just tell me. I'll just skip it.
Okay. Well, we had about 12 today and we've gone through them all.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And last one.
That was a really good segment.
Sam Monaco, and it's not done yet.
G'day crew, loving the podcast. Just wondering if there's scope for some roaming back chat at the John Worsfold medal and or the Doig medal. Would love to see what some of the boys have to say after a few sherbets.
Charlie?
Cheers, Sam.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Would
Get
you,
down to
Charlie?
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Get down the doig.
Should we just say Charlie's really keen?
Can he come to the Doig?
Is it all right if we just have a roaming interviewer just rolling around in between the players asking them questions?
I think they'll love it.
Would you wear your flag mantle jumper?
I'd wear it over the tux.
That's if there's any left. Backchatpodcast.com.au.
What if they just lost the
merch.
grand final? Would you still wear it?
There's no year on it. That's the
Yeah,
beauty
there's
of
no
it.
year. Next year.
If Fremantle don't win
It
the
still
flag
seems like a
this
slap in the
year,
face.
do you feel like you're solely responsible for their downfall this year? You?
Oh wow.
Cat sitting next to
No,
me.
you, Charlie.
Nodding. No, it's not me.
You sure?
It's I've helped.
We've made these for you.
Yeah, I'm partly.
If you are a
You're
West
the
Coast,
piece of the banner that hit Tommy Carroll in the face for Fremantle.
if you are a West Coast fan, you are listening, and you want to take down Fremantle, I'd be buying your flag mantle gear right now. Backchatpodcast.com.au/merch. Backchat bets powered by Bluebet. Yes, that's right, Butsy. I know you're not a big betting man. Neither are we. We make one multi a week for a bit of fun, a bit of a laugh. We have
Love
a
it.
theme. We take the piss out of each other. A couple of weeks ago, we had a big winner, $2. Charlie had $1 on it. He made $2. Made $1.
Multi.
Yes.
I don't know
Multi-bet.
much about betting, but aren't you meant to win
Yes.
back multiple?
Yeah. Yeah. So you
Times your money?
Well, it depends how narrow you make the margin. So Sam Butler to have 15 touches in a game, I mean, it's about $1.01, right?
Yeah.
If you multi that into Will Schofield to have 3 calamitous turnovers in the game, another $1.
To handball out of the
yes
kick out front.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So this week we went with the bald and the beautiful.
Ooh, likey.
Look,
I think play on words.
I think bald can be beautiful. This is my personal opinion.
You're the only one.
Max Gawn had to have 15 touches.
Done. I think he had that at half time.
Bailey Smith, he had like 27. Bailey Smith, 25 touches.
Again, I think he had that at half time.
Captain of the Hot Guys team, gets it done. Big tick. Jack Steele, 25 touches against the Eagles. He had 40.
Yes.
Big tick. So 3 from 3, baby. Finish it off. Our premiership captain, the baldest man in the competition, Shannon Hearn, the man,
Captain Wingnut himself,
the legend, 20 touches. He's on 12 at half time.
Yeah.
It's game over.
Just needs
a
8.
shoe-in.
Cashing in the chips. Easy as you like. $3. Triple your money. Had 17. Had 0 touches in the third quarter.
Not one.
Absolutely shat the bed, Shannon Hearn.
There was one. He was running down the wing. I thought, here we go. Here's one.
Here's a touch.
Gets tackled, taken out of bounds. Just handball at Shannon.
I mean, I will give Shannon some credit. We don't like to, put it on the players here because they lost Smoddy. Who cares? I will say it's the first time he's let anyone down in the history of his life. He's the most dependable man I've ever come across. So bad luck, Shannon. Next week we'll be back better than ever. Maybe we just go bald. No beautiful, just bald.
Yep.
Well, bald let you down this time.
No, well
maybe just go beautiful.
No, how do you know that Shannon wasn't a beautiful?
Well, you introed him as the most baldest man in the history of the world. So I just rolled with what your vibe was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's a nice little intro into Don't Get Me Started, Sam Butler. Right? Don't Get Me Started. A new segment on this podcast for our special guest, but something that we can all play along with too, because as you know, I get a bee in my bonnet about most things in life.
Correct. This could go forever.
A bee in my bonnet.
You just the shackles are off.
Don't get me started, Dan.
Okay. This week there was a draw in the AFL. I hate draws. I've gone on the record in the past when they split the gold medal in the high jump. It ruined that event for me. Oh. You loved it. You loved two people sharing something in the win.
I remember that. That was fantastic. What a moment.
There's got to be a winner. There's got to be a winner. It doesn't matter. You can't give a team 2 points and 2 points. One of the best things in sport in the NBA is when they go to overtime, right? It's a spectacle. Double overtime, triple overtime. It gets more dramatic as it goes. It's so bloody good. I saw...
is that unlimited in basketball?
It will. Yeah, it will be. I think it's never gone past 4 overtimes.
But it could?
I don't think there's a rule. I mean, unless
they could play... There's no ending.
Till January, yes.
Okay.
I saw Richmond fans on the internet and Fremantle fans going, just glad to get the 2 points this week.
Right.
That's losers' mentality. You can't go in and go, I'm stoked to get a draw there. Because you know what? You're not deserving of the 4 points then. A team that goes, we're lucky to get away with a draw. No, you should have lost then. Send the game to overtime. It happens. How many draws has there been this year?
One.
One in the whole season. Send it to overtime. There isn't one valid argument to go and keep the draw. It doesn't make sense.
Sam, go. Valid argument.
Footy's really hard.
Oh, okay.
By an extra 10 minutes, I'd be stuffed.
Really?
Yeah.
Too hard?
History, hardness. Let it go.
Hardness.
Draws.
Oh.
Draws are fun.
Why are they fun? Have you played in a draw?
No.
Then
You've never played in a draw?
No.
Charlie, please. You've never played in a draw?
Don't think so.
I don't believe you.
Have you?
I don't think I have.
Nah, Sam hasn't. I'm going to check on Scully, though, because I think you might have.
I feel like I have. I feel like Gold Coast rings a bell of some description.
There was a famous draw, West Coast versus Collingwood, 2007 finals.
Yes.
At Subiaco, and then it went to overtime.
Well, that's not a draw. That's overtime.
Sorry.
That's the opposite of what we're talking about.
Very famous overtime.
You know what you like? Do you know why you like draws? You like soccer.
Yeah.
And you
I get it with
all the
soccer.
time.
Because the scoring so few and far between. It has to end at some point.
Yes.
Football, you play an extra 2 5-minute halves, 1 10-minute flip a coin.
Could just do a penalty shootout at the end of the game.
No, that's too gimmicky.
Oh.
Definitely for finals. It still is for finals, I'm assuming.
Yeah, overtime.
No draws.
Yeah.
Scully, you did play in a draw. It was Gold Coast 2015.
That's pretty... 2015?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
18.
What were you doing? 2018 or 2015?
Around,
2015. Yeah.
What were you doing? Sam wasn't playing, obviously.
Mm.
Okay. Don't get me started, Sam. Very good, Dan.
I can't have one more thing. When the new CEO comes in,
Okay.
they need to do two things. One, first and foremost, bring back AFLX because that was bloody awesome. And two, get rid of the draw. All right. Your
Don't
turn.
get me. You want me to? No,
Yeah.
I want to hear Sam. I want to hear Sam. I may not get stuck into this because let's be honest, my list is long things. Don't get me started on. So
Yeah.
I'll just take few and far between here.
I didn't have much prep with this,
Okay.
but there's one thing that's pissing me off in my life right now.
Wow.
Annoying me. I shouldn't say pissing me off.
You said you're a very positive person. by nature.
Yeah. I normally just love life. There's not many things in life that can
Okay.
get me down.
Hmm.
Except the most important thing in my life right now, above all else, sorry family, is Arsenal transfers. The market is rife at the moment. And rumours are coming out hourly. And I'm watching them, a lot of them.
Really?
The thing that's getting me is the best place to get this stuff is YouTube. And in my car, I do two things. Call people or listen to podcasts or
BackChat.
things like that. BackChat.
Yep.
Other things. YouTube, for a podcast, you can listen to it, then lock your phone, put it in your car, keeps playing. YouTube, you watch it, but if you lock your phone, stops.
Yes. What if you
Why?
get?
We can put a man on the moon. YouTube can't work out how to play when it stops.
Dan's shaking his head.
So you need to buy YouTube Red.
Yeah, you need premium, bro.
Is that porn YouTube?
No. That is...
Sounds like it.
That is PornTube.
No, that is the service that YouTube makes you pay for, and you can lock your phone.
Oh, so
You need
I'm
to
really
pay
pissed
up.
off
How
at
many-
myself being a cheap guy.
How many hours...
So that's how they get you.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
They
How many,
know.
they give you so many
Hey,
free
very
hours.
smart by them.
Yes.
I was about to say YouTube, you idiots, because you're about to kill all podcasts if you can just lock your phone.
Are you gonna go and pay up now?
No, of course not.
Why not?
I think it's
Some
four.
tight
It's
ads.
$4 a month. It's so cheap, and I think you get access to movies and stuff.
Why did I think something else was grinding Butsy's gears? Did he tell us something before this podcast?
I thought there was
And then
something
he's just
about a
made-
sauna.
Oh yeah, but that's okay. We won't talk about that. No.
Didn't that guy grind your gears?
Is
Is that yours?
I'm going to pass on this. Oh, no, do you want me to throw mine in?
Yeah, throw it in.
I mean, we spent a bit of time in airports this weekend, and the things that I say don't get me started on. People who line up for the plane before boarding has been called. So they're standing in line. So the announcement will come over. VA 0691 will be departing for Melbourne in 10 minutes. Boarding will shortly open. There's already a line. What are you lining up for?
Overhead cabin space.
So this is the only argument that got put to me over Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I cannot remember a time in all of my travels, not football. That's fine. That's probably different. I travelled every year overseas. Travelled through Europe to Asia, interstate literally 5 times a year.
Okay, show off.
I've
So, yeah.
never once lined up first, and 2, I have never not had somewhere to put my bag above my head.
Yeah, well,
it's not like people
business-
don't roll on with 6
Yeah.
different luggage. You can't do that.
Business class is different, mate.
No, I do not sit in
Up
business
the
class.
back with the cattle.
Mate, I travelled with 2 kids, 3 adults. We had like 5 bags between us because of the 2 kids. Pram, no worries. We got on last, no worries. Got on, literally above my head, empty locket space. Here we go.
You know
Straight
what
up.
happens as well? They if there isn't space, they go bring it to the front. We'll check it in.
So
for
you
you.
agree with me, but Sam,
Yeah.
Sam's up the front lining up, waiting for you to put his bags away. Aren't you? Look at you, you smug idiot.
Do you know what the thing about the plane is?
Yes.
That always gets me? When you sit down and there's a spare seat next to you and you just watch everyone's eyes when they come onto the plane to see if they're looking at your row. If they start looking close to your row, what number is like, oh, they're coming in here. Oh, they went past.
Yeah. So
The next guy, oh, he's not here. I might get a spare seat next to me here.
if you travel with 2 people, do you book one window seat and one middle seat, or do you go aisle and window and hopefully someone's not traveling by themselves and takes the middle seat?
I have done that.
And if they do take it, then just say, "Oh, sorry, we messed up booking up.
Yeah.
Can we swap?"
You end up with someone going, "I'm sorry, that's my seat."
Yeah, you, damn, you would have a A4 printout of your ticket.
But what about the manifest? What if we
Exactly.
crash?
What if
They
we
won't know
crash?
who I am.
Damn.
And they
Yeah.
miss.
They'll bury the wrong person.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to keep moving. We've actually rattled on for quite a lot. That's don't get me started. I don't mind that at all, Dan. Don't get me started on you podcast segments. Very good. Fantasy, little run through. Only 4 rounds to go. Andrew C. and the Common Men on top, 29th in the country. 2 grand final tickets, Butsy, for the winner of the BackChat Fantasy League. Yeah, that's absolutely
You're coughing those up.
Absolutely, I am. And I don't know how I'm going to get them. So hopefully someone has a couple of grand final tickets I can scalp off and then give to the guys. Hot Guys team inside the top 30. Going well, Hot Guys team. Very good. Made some good decisions over the weekend. Bailey Smith being vice captain, one of those. We move on. Fines. There's no gavel. Sammy's left the gavel. Not back in Melbourne.
No,
He's
no,
back. Hasn't delivered it. There's actually no cricket ball here either. I will point that out.
Everyone loved it in Melbourne.
Literally
People started knocking
guest.
on our door going, you the guys with the cricket ball? Like, yeah, come on in. They'd have a look at it.
We had the cricket ball when you were on, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you
I know the
remember
story.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So for this,
Yes.
Butsy, we're doing sort of like a footy fine session where we're raising actual money. We're putting our money up. If people send in fines, give themselves $1 allocation. We'll pay the money, give it to 3 charities. Men's Talk here in Perth, dealing with men's mental health. Sabre, which is the Staffy and Bully Breed Rescue. They look after those types of dogs here in Perth, as well as Socket to Sarcoma, which is a rare cancer that Socket to Sarcoma does research and puts some money towards. So we're raising those funds here at BackChat for the fines.
Fantastic.
And I'll run a little fine session. Are you ready?
I'm very ready. And excited.
Excuse me. Just going to my notes. Charlie for going down like a 3-legged tranquilised giraffe wearing RM Williams after telling us just how good his RM Williams were. $2. Dan for heading out with no ID. You look 12 years old, mate. And Scully for not bringing Kat to Melbourne. Would have been more valuable than Sammy, Charlie and Dan put together. $2 each. There you go. That's the BackChat covered. And Sam Butler, fine for
Being too perfect.
telling everyone that he's on a diet and he's only eating what Nat eats and he's got a beer sitting in front of him and a bag of chips on the ground that no one's seen yet.
I'm glad these aren't taped, these episodes.
Sam Butler, $2. Bo P. This is for Scully. $4.25. Oh, that's specific. Hi, lads. Love the pod. The fine is on behalf of Scully's mum, Jan. Okay. Thank you very much, Bo. I appreciate you representing my mother here. In your earlier podcast, you beeped out the F-bombs because dear Jan didn't like you swearing. Well, you've gone well past that, being one of your biggest fans. I assume she listens to every episode. She does. The fine is for the episode with Sean McManus, which you've listened to, Sam.
I have.
During that episode, there was 85 F-bombs dropped, 83 from Sean, 2 from Scully. Fair.
That's all right, yeah.
At least I'm holding up my end of the bargain. So a fine of 5 cents for every one of those, which is $4.25, rounded up to $5 for the 2 C-bombs Sean threw in there as well. Love your work, boys. Very good stuff there.
Fair.
That was surprising, wasn't it?
You said
They roll off the tongue. He's a lead at him.
the first words that came out of Sean's mouth was, "Can we swear on this podcast?" I said, "Oh, like sure, mate. Like if you swear during."
If it slips out, it's okay. We're not going to edit it.
Fuck yeah, let's fucking go. Calm down, Sean. And then proceeded to drop 85 of them. Love that you went back and listened to that, Bo, and got the numbers done there. Sean Donay, could be Donnet, but I think it's a Donay. The lady in front of me in the McDonald's drive-through, $2. For not allowing me to merge into my position in line
I hate this.
in the dual lane McDonald's drive-through. When she arrived at the pay window, it was my order displayed. When she arrived at the collection window, it was my coffee sitting there waiting. I was forced to just watch and wait, knowing I'm about to be late for work. $2 fine for the lady in
Can
the
we make
McDonald's
that
drive-through.
three?
$3 fine.
Make it three. That's horrible.
It's
I
the
hate
last
it.
time I take requests from you. $1 fine for Dan. Oscar Allen and Steve Bandy.
Oh,
We're going over there, are we? Okay, $5 fine apparently for shamelessly ripping off social media. Episodes of the inferior Coast to Coast podcast now end with a segment in which the hosts ask the guests questions that have been submitted by the listeners through email and socials. Look, I'll take the fine on board, but I will say, hasn't been a great deal of thought going into social media. I mean, you've always been a huge fan of social media in your time.
Obviously, that's not part of the show anymore. You told me it wasn't for me to sign up.
Absolutely, it is. Oh, it's a big part. The guest, not this part. We left it out of here. For you.
Let's be honest. Social media wasn't invented by you. There's been other things where you write in, but the name,
the
name
mailbag.
made it
Yes.
what it is today,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I don't think that's a shameless
general
ripping
concept
off
of a mailbag.
people being asked people.
Oscar Allen, you owe Will Schofield royalties.
That's it. We're done for BackChat, Butsy. Have you had fun?
That's it.
You got anything to finish us
No,
off
I was a
with?
bit flattening actually. I thought
Yeah.
we were going to get into a bit more.
First and only guest that we've ever had that's just decided to go rogue and just lean back on the chair, grab the mic stand, just sit as he pleases. While Will and I have great posture and sitting up for the cameras.
Can there be a fine for that as well?
It's a fine for Charlie
You ever
coming
get
in for that.
credits?
Very good.
You
Love
ever get
that.
credits in this for being awesome or anything?
I'll give you the credit. Social, BackChat, _. That's where you find us on socials. hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. If you want to send it, we'll read it. hello@backchatpodcast.com.au. If you want to send us a fine, you can do that on our website and everything else. Sign up as a Patreon. Find our merch. Or you can find it at backchatpodcast.com.au /merch. We've got Flag Mantle. We've got BackChat stuff coming online this week. Get over there. Find the good stuff. Thanks to our sponsors, Whippersnapper, Shelter, Bluebet, Margaret River Roasting Co. and Leaderville Cameras. And a very big thank you to Sham Butler. That's absolutely right. Sham Butler. We'll have you back. You've been amazing. And you have a new nickname.
Shammy.
Sham well.